everybody, and welcome to Storm Reads. And today I'm going to do like a weekly wrap up. I've been trying to do this kind of a format because a lot of times I just can't remember a lot about the books if I wait till the end of the month. So I'm trying this out, and I was wanting to do it on Sundays, but I just didn't feel good yesterday. I had a headache, my neck was really bothering me, and I just wasn't in the headspace. So I'm doing it on Monday instead. It doesn't matter. It's just telling you about the books that I've currently read and what I'm going to be reading, so I don't think it really matters what day it comes out on. So, with that, I actually read a lot more than I thought I did. I thought I was having a really bad kind of mojo reading kind of week, but I listened to a lot of books. I read 2 ebooks and I listened to quite a few audiobooks, so must have been doing okay. I just didn't think my reading was going quite as well. I think the problem is that I'm not getting the category romances read quite as fast as I was hoping because I don't have them on audio, and I found the one I'm going to talk to you about on audio, so I could kind of read the book and do the audio. But the other ones are all either ebooks or print books, and I just read those slower. And so, like when I'm out in my garden and stuff, I can listen to audiobooks. So I guess that's why I thought I'm just not going as fast as I thought it was. Anyway, the first one I'm going to talk about is for the category, a categorically romance readathon, and it's Rising Danger by Jerusha Agin. I'm not quite sure how you exactly pronounce the last name, but it's this one here, and I just really love the cover. Now this is a Harlequin's branch of the Love Inspired, and so it is a Christian romance, and so there is the faith-based thing going on, and I didn't find that it was too preachy or anything, but I mean they do talk about God and religion in here, so you just keep that in mind. But I thought it was very, very fast-paced. Like from the very beginning, we find out that Bristol, she works for the PK9 Security and Detection Agency. She used to work for the bomb squad at the local police, but something happens and she decides to break away from them because she's wanting to use a dog. That's her dog, Troy. I believe that was his name, or Toby. One of the two. I can't remember, but that's her dog. And so she decided, whenever Phoenix, who owns the it's called the Phoenix Canine, so whenever she called her and wanted to know if she wanted to come and work for her and that she would get a dog to be able to work with, she decided to go ahead and move over there. So she works for them, and basically she does kind of what the bomb squad does, but she's not able to disarm the bomb. So she goes in with her dog and locates the bomb, and then the bomb squad comes in and disarms the bomb. And she also does a lot of search and rescue type stuff too. After a bomb has gone off, she takes her dog and goes and looks for bodies and things like that, or maybe people that are alive. And at the very beginning, she's at a site where there's been a bomb threat, and her dog are looking for a bomb. She finds out that her ex-boyfriend is the guy who actually is in charge of dam security, because it's at a dam. Like there's a series of dams where they're at, and I can't remember exactly where they're at, but there's a person that's calling themselves Libertas or something like that, and he wants to liberate the water from the dams, and so he's threatening to do that, and so she's not happy about seeing him there, but she has to work with him, and they go and they find the bomb, and then they have to call the bomb squad and stuff. And well, they find out that there could be bomb threats in other places, and while they're at the one, a big explosion happens at another dam, and it kills and injures some people, and so she has to immediately go over there and has to search for anybody that's alive and things like that. And he's feeling really bad because he's in charge of the security and safety of the people that are around the dams, but he doesn't really know what to do with this bomb threat and everything. And he's the one that he used to be really kind of a hot shot reckless, a rebel, and that's when she knew him. And he's changed a lot and everything. He is now a Christian, and he has changed his attitude and everything. And he has to prove that he's changed, because she doesn't believe. She just thinks he's going to be the same old reckless person that she knew back when they were both in the police academy. And he had some things happen to him while he was in the police academy, and he didn't end up finishing. And that's kind of one of the reasons why she doesn't trust him. And so they have this trust issue, but she's got to work with him, and so she's got to kind of get over thinking of him as he was whenever he was younger, because now he's a little bit older and he's grown up and everything. So he has to prove something. So yeah, so they've got that kind of going on. There's not a lot of romance, because it is mainly the suspense in this book, because it is a love-inspired suspense novel, and so it's mostly about them trying to find the bombers and what happened and all that stuff. And it was very fast-paced, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I gave this one 5 stars. I really liked it. I really liked it. I liked how it wrapped up in the end and all that stuff. It was just really good. And so I would recommend it. Then the next book that I have to talk about is an audiobook that I listened to, and it's A Death Long Overdue by Eva Gates, and it's number 7 in the Lighthouse Library series. And this one has Birdie, one of the head librarians at the Lighthouse, is having kind of a reunion of librarians that used to work at the library. And so it's just a bunch of older librarians and everything. And during this get-together, there's one of the ladies that used to be a head librarian, I believe. The other ones didn't think she was going to be invited, but I think Birdie invited her just so she could see how well they're doing, I think, kind of without her, or, you know, how they've changed some things. But she's very rude to a lot of people, and you can tell that a lot of people did not like her when she used to work there. And then, of course, she is found dead. And so Lucy, who's working with at the Lighthouse, she's the one that usually does a lot of the sleuthing and things like that. She's kind of curious about what happened, and so she kind of starts to look around and try to find out what happened and everything. And it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I like the characters. It's not a favorite series. It's just an enjoyable series, and it's one that I do want to get caught up with, and so I'm almost caught up, because I need to read one more, and then I'll be caught up with the series until the next one comes out. And so I'm kind of excited about that, because I am so behind on a lot of cozy mysteries. But yeah, I really like Lucy, and I like the fact that her boyfriend is not a police officer. He is the mayor of the town, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, I like Birdie and all the ones that are at the library. They're a lot of fun and everything. So yeah, it's just an enjoyable, fun, cozy mystery read. Then the next one is Murder, She Knit by Peggy Earhart. I think that's how you say her name. And this is the first in the Knit and Nibble series, and this one is part of the knockout challenges for the Killing Time with Cozy book group. And so this is about Pamela, who is a widow on her own, and her daughter is in college, and she's kind of a part of a knitting group called the Knit and Nibble group, where they get together at each one of them's house. They take turns, and they get together and they knit things, and they, you know, talk, and they always have some kind of refreshment, so they nibble, so knit and nibble. And this one is being hosted, this time it's being hosted by Pamela, and she invited somebody that she saw that she used to know. Her name was Amy, I believe, and she invited her to the group, but she never shows up. So she's kind of curious about what happened and why she never shows up. And then later on, she finds her dead with a knitting needle in her chest. And So, of course, she's got to figure out what happened because she doesn't know why somebody would want to kill her. She just wants to figure out what happened. This one was okay. I mean, I'll probably continue on with the series, but it's going to depend on the main character from here on out because I just didn't really like Pamela very well. She jumped to conclusions a lot. And, I'm trying to think about, do a lot of the amateur sleuths jump to conclusions? Sometimes they do, I'm pretty sure. But it just seems like she just, instead of just asking the person outright, she just automatically assumed, like, the worst of everybody. Like, there's the guy, I think his name was Randolph, and he had Argyle socks. Well, one of the ladies in the group was knitting socks, Argyle socks. And so automatically she has them... her being the one that must have knitted him the socks, but he was dating the one lady, and so she must have been the one that must have done something, and he must be a bad guy because he's that, and it's like, you don't even know these people. Other people probably knit Argyle socks or whatever, I mean. And then whenever you find out, like, where he got the socks from, it's like, see? And then also her neighbor, she thinks her neighbor's like a Lothario, like he's got these young women coming in and out of his house all the time, and he's old and he shouldn't be having these, because he's her age or whatever, and shouldn't be having these young ladies come in and out of his house. And then you find out later, like, they're his daughters. So he does have these young ladies coming in and out of his house. But so she just, like, jumps to these conclusions, and it just kind of got old after a while, and I'm like, maybe she'll not do that as much in the future because maybe she learns that she should, find out before she decides that they're horrible people. And so I will try the next one and see how it goes. But I gave this one 3 stars. It was just okay. It had a decent mystery and everything, but yeah, overall it was. And the next one is the other book for the Knockout Challenge, and it's called Yarn to Go by Betty Heckman, and this is number 1 in the Yarn Retreat series. This is a re-listen for me because I have listened to like 4 of the audiobooks from this series, but it's been several years since I've listened to the first one, and I wanted to give them a fair shake because I learned the last time whenever I had read one like a long time ago that I just really couldn't remember a whole lot about it. So I went ahead and re-listened to it, and I didn't remember anything. I mean, I didn't remember who the killer was or anything, so it was kind of like being brand new. This one is about Casey. She makes these muffins and some other baked goods for a restaurant in town. That's what they serve as like their desserts and things like that. She does that at night. She goes into their establishment and bakes at night for them so that they have desserts for in the morning for their customers and things like that. And her aunt has recently passed away, and so now she's having to deal with cleaning out her aunt's things. And she finds out that her aunt used to run a yarn retreat, and there is still a yarn retreat on the books, and it's in 2 weeks. Well, that's really too late to try to call everybody out and offer refunds and everything, because they're already probably, have this planned, taking time off or whatever it is. So she decides in like her aunt's honor, she will do this last retreat. The lady who's going to be actually doing the knitting stuff, she has somebody, so she doesn't have to do that. There's somebody there that's an expert that knows how to do the things that will be teaching them and everything and working with them. She just has to make sure things run smoothly. Well, things don't run very smoothly whenever they find out that a lady had died and everything, and some of the people at the retreat knew them. And then one of the ladies from the retreat ends up dead too. So she feels obligated to find out what happened. And then you've got the yarn retreat is at this like resort hotel place. And it's the Canterbury by the Sea, I believe is what it's called. And Cadbury by the Sea. That's it, I think. Something like that. And the guy that runs that, he wants to run all the retreats. He wants to run everything. His name is Kevin St. John, and you just really want to strangle him because he's really an annoying character. And he runs everything, and he wants to run the knitting, the yarn retreat. He wants to keep it going, but he wants it done his way. And so he's trying to talk Casey into letting him run it afterwards. But she's going to do this retreat, and then she'll see. She may let him do it because she knows nothing about knitting or yarns or anything. And so she's, not really invested in it. But she wants to find out who the murderer is. And so she decides to keep going with the retreat and everything. And she gets to know the people that are at the retreat and all that kind of thing. And so, of course, she's going to end up, it's a yarn retreat series, so of course she's going to keep the retreat and everything. But her parents don't like it. Her parents want her to go to Paris to learn how to be a real chef and baker and things so that she can get a real job. And so, yeah, there's that. She's thinking about doing that. She doesn't know what she wants to do. There's all this. And then there's trying to find out who the murderer was. And I enjoy this series, and I really enjoyed the first one again. I gave it 4 stars. I like the characters a lot better in this one, and I like the main character better. She does jump to a few conclusions, so that's why I said maybe that is something that I'm just now noticing more. Because it seems like the more cozies I listen to or read, the more certain things are popping out into my head that irritates me a little bit. But she doesn't do it near as much as in the other book. But yeah, I like this one, and so yeah, I gave it 4 stars. It was good. And then another audiobook that I listened to was The Library of the Dead by T.L. Hachu. It's the Edinburgh Nights #1. And I did get this one from NetGalley as an audio arc, and I can't remember the publisher. I think it was Macmillan or St. Anyway, I'll put it down here because I can't remember. But I do want to say thank you because they did let me get this and everything. So I will put it down there so you can see. But this one it was okay. It was about Ropa, who can speak to the dead. And because she can, she's in a place where her and her family, she lives with her, I think it's her grandmother and her sister, and she needs money, and because money's really tight, it's kind of in like an alternate kind of post-catastrophe kind of a world, and she needs the money, so she quit school to become what they call a ghost talker. And so what you do is a ghost will come to you and they will ask you to go to their relatives and to tell them what they need, like their unfinished business, to help them with that. So the relative has to be willing to pay her to tell them what their relative's last wishes were or whatever. Like there was this one, she was a cook, and I think it was a B&B, and I think maybe her sons or something took it over or whatever. They were trying to do it their way, and she was telling them recipe after recipe, and they were paying for it, and that was fine. That was like a good thing for Europa. But there was this one recipe that the ghost didn't want to let go because they were afraid they were going to ruin it, and that ended up being like her unfinished business. She needed to pass over like how to actually make this certain thing because they weren't making it right, and so they were losing business because they weren't doing things right or something like that. So it was kind of funny. But yeah, so she's got these ghosts that she talks to, and there's this one that keeps coming to her and he's asking her to look into what happened to some kids, but she's like, the relatives, they can't pay for it, and she's like, I'm sorry, I work for a living, this is my livelihood, I can't help you. But then she finds out that some other ghosts are whispering about how these kids are going missing and some bad things are happening to kids. And she finds out, and she gets curious, so she wants to kind of find out what happened. And she finds out that some of the kids, when they come back, they are like old, like something drained the life out of them or something, and they're not the same. So she gets involved with trying to figure this out, and she finds out about this library that's like part of an occult or whatever, and she gets sucked into like this other dimension at one point and has to get out. And there's this like creature person called the Milkman, and she has to fight against that and try try to save the children that she can save and things like that. And it was good. A lot of it, though, was kind of boring. And just Ropa doing nothing, really, at the beginning. I thought this audiobook wasn't really that long, but it seemed like it took me a long time to get through it, because I would get a little bored and I would put it to the side, and then I would come back, and then I would, and stuff. And because of that, the ending and stuff was really good, but because it was just took me a lot to get into it, a long time, I gave it 3 stars. It's a decent start, I think, to a series, because it is going to be a series, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Ropa and the ghost talking and her friends and things like that in the future. But yeah, I think it just kind of just took a little bit too long to get going, maybe. Then the last book that I have to talk about is 1 Week to Claim It All by Adriana Herrera. And I read this for the Categorically Romance Readathon, and this one is a Harlequin Desire. So it's a little spicier than, of course, the other one that I read. And this one was for the Owns Voices, and it's about Esmeralda, who, her father was never a part of her life, and he didn't want anything to do with her after he married. She's like illegitimate, and he owns this TV company that's designed for like the Latin community, like all different kinds of the Latin and stuff. And she is, her ethnicity is from the Dominican and everything. So she's decided that, you know, since he wouldn't let her have any part of the company, she wanted to kind of prove herself to her father. So she gets a degree in business and film industry and stuff, and she works her way, starting to work her way up. She would never take anything from her. She wanted to prove herself that she could do it. Well, he has passed on, and he has, in his will, he's given her the job of CEO of his company. Instead of giving it to his kids, his legitimate kids, or his wife, he's given it to her. And this makes, of course, his family like in an uproar, because how could he give it to her? Well, she wasn't sure if she was going to go ahead and do it or not, because she had a certain amount of time to claim her right and everything. Well, there is a board and everything, and one of the stipulations within this board is that she has to come up with a plan on how she's going to move forward with the company. But she only has a week to do it. If not, they'll give it to him, because Rodrigo has been there the whole time, and he's worked himself up through the company, and he was Patricio's right-hand man, and he was going to become CEO. And he thought he had it because she had never decided to claim anything, and so he was going, you know, like they were there. He was about to take over the reins when she shows up. And the reason she shows up is because she's decided she's not going to let him have it, because that's her ex-boyfriend. And he kind of done her dirty, or so she thinks, because the way he broke up with her and everything. And it's just been a thorn in her side, and she wants revenge, kind of. She wants some vengeance. And she wants to prove to herself, to her father who is dead, to him, to anybody, that she can take over the head of this big company. And so that's pretty much what this is about, and about the attraction between the two, because there's some unfinished business there. So it's a second chance romance and everything, and I liked it. It was pretty good. Actually, I don't think it's quite as steamy as I thought it was going to be, since it was the Harlequin Desire and everything, but it really depends on your level. I gave it like maybe a 3 flames. It depends on your level, though, of what you think is steamy, I guess. So what one person's is somebody else's not. So this was probably pretty tame for some people that like to read like darker and more erotic type things. So it really just depends on you. But yeah, there were a couple of steamy scenes and stuff in here and everything that I kind of just like skipped through because it's not my thing. But yeah, I liked it, and I gave this 4 stars. So that's everything that I managed to read last week and everything, which, like I said, I read quite a bit more than I thought I was going to be reading. And I'm going to talk about what I am currently reading. And so what I am currently working on is Operation Snare by Eve Gladstone. I've been working on this one, but it's just paperbacks. This takes me a lot longer, and it took me a little while to get into it. This is from 1987, and it's the Harlequin Intrigue, and it's a little bit different. I do like the nostalgia of the rotary phone. That's kind of cool. And everything. But yeah, this is about Molly, who is, see if I can say it right, a linguist who she's been tape recording people, just like their everyday life, just kind of, you know, seeing how people talk and how their accents and things like that. She's doing it for a dissertation, and somebody steals, right off the bat, somebody steals her tape recorder out of her bag, and she is determined to find this tape recorder. She does know that there could be some things on the tape recorder that she doesn't want people to know about, but it ends up that the guy who took the tape recorder pawned it at a pawn shop, and there's this Operation Snare going on. So there was actually a policeman who intercepted, because he was working there, and he gets the tape recorder, and at first it sounds like there's nothing on there, but the sergeant, when he listened to the tape that was in there and he listens to it farther on, he finds out that there was something on there. It's a kind of tape recorder. It's a Panasonic. There's a type of recorder that you can leave it on and it won't record unless somebody's speaking. So she had left it in her bag at a party she was at, and evidently it picked up some stuff that was not too good. It sounds like somebody might have gotten rid of somebody. And so Rick is the assistant district attorney who is working with Operation Snare, and he is trying to get the information out of Molly, and she's not very forthwith. And then somebody tries to kill her, and so he's trying to protect her, but he also kind of likes her. So he's kind of in a rock and a hard place of trying to make sure she's not a bad guy and doesn't know exactly what she has on it. And also, is she trying to protect her judge uncle, or, you know, is she just kind of an innocent person in all of this? He really likes her. So yeah, I'm almost halfway through it, and I like it so far. It's pretty good. Of course, I'm not going to talk about this, but I am still reading Bloodlike Magic by LaSalle Sambury. I did get a little bit farther. I am on page 153 now. Yes, I don't know why I'm torturing myself and keep going, but I mean, I did get it as an arc, and so I kind of feel like I should at least give it to the halfway mark. So hopefully something picks up at maybe the halfway mark. If not, I might bail on this, because I just really have no desire to pick it up. But I did read about 20 to 30 pages, so I did get a little accomplished. And so after I get... Oh, I am also listening to the book club pick for the Killing Time with Cozies, which is Mr. Monk Goes to the Firehouse. I just started listening to it, so I have no opinions on it or anything. It just about Natalie Teeger, who's kind of narrating how Monk has to come and live with her because there's termites in his place, and so he needed a place to stay. And that's pretty much all I've gotten to. So. And then what I'd like to get to next, because I do need to still read, after that other Harlequin, 2 more to get all of the prompts for the categorically readathon, or romance readathon. And I don't read paperbacks as quick, and I can't find these on audio or ebook or anything. And I mean, I could, but I don't want to pay like $4.99 or something like that. And so, but this is the Harlequin Gothic romance for the category or whatever it is that's no longer in print, or whatever that's no longer available. They only made a select few of these, which I think it's kind of a bummer, and they should make more. But yeah, I remember reading some of these back a long time ago and stuff, so I'm kind of curious to see what I'm going to think of this. And I don't really know anything about it. And then I have another love-inspired suspense, and this is Buried Memories by Harold J. Post, and it I think is part of a series, which is kind of a bummer because I like to read things like this in order, but I think this is like number 4 or 5 in a series, but hopefully that won't deter me. But this is for the summer cover and stuff, so hopefully I will get to this one, but it's a little chunkier than the other one, so we'll see. If I don't get all the prompts done for that, I don't care. I'm still going to read them probably, and I'm still going to read romance for most of the month. I do have, at the end of the month, I found out there's a historical romance readathon, and so you'll probably see me on here for another like little TBR for that, because I want to participate in that. So my TBR is changing for this month. Go figure. And also, I need to get to Siege and Storm. I didn't get to it last week, but we will be reviewing it on our blog, me and my friend, next week. So I do need to get to it. And so it's kind of chunky, and I couldn't find this on audio anywhere that I could get, so that's a bummer. But yeah, so all these print books that I'm reading, and I'm just a slower reader when it comes to that. I don't know why. Ebooks is better for me, but oh well. We'll get to what I can get to. So that's everything that I got going on right now. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little lengthy, and hopefully I didn't bore you guys too much. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.